Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to throw away an entire session skating a setup that I'm not used to. Just for you. We're going to try the Kader trucks today. And I don't think it's going to be that bad because everything else is pretty much what I've been riding. We got Spitfire Formula 4 Classics here. We got the crooked Manderson shape that I've been skating. So what's different about these ones, you guys, is they are the hollows, 5.8 hollows with a cast base plate. And that right there is the difference, is Venture has up till this point never made a hollow with a cast base plate. Indy has a hollow with a cast base plate, Thunder has hollows with a cast base plate, but for some reason Venture didn't. And the Kader is the first time they've released it. It's a different look with the sandblasted finish and the name there. They have black bushings this time as opposed to the usual purple ones, or sometimes they're yellow too. I think the 6.1s, they use yellow bushings, which look really cool. But I didn't actually like the look of these trucks at first, but once I got it on this deck and set up, they actually grew on me. So I have had one session on these, so I'm not coming into it totally blind, but what we are gonna do, because this is a 14.25 wheelbase, and a lot of the time when people decide to ride Ventures, it's because they want to ride it on a smaller wheelbase. So I'm going to mess around on this one, but we are also going to set up a Christmas complete, almost, except my son has actually tried these. We also have the 5.6. So these are the 8.25 ones. My son tried one session on them. Basically, Kaders were the gateway drug to Ventures. My son would not try anything other than Indies, like so stubbornly, and in a way smartly, because we all know what happens when you go into the truck switching vortex. But anyways, the Kaders actually got him to switch, but these ones weren't quite right. He has been riding an 8.125 primitive board, and I actually convinced him to try the Venture lows, and he loves these things. And in fact, I'm actually jealous of his setup right now because it's so snappy and nice. But anyways, I don't actually want madness. I'm super happy with my setup right now. We're just doing this because we have all this gear here. Okay, and just a disclaimer, guys, I've been doing this channel like 6 years now. I do get pretty much every single thing you see on this channel for free. It's been that way for a long time. If you didn't know that, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm not officially sponsored by anybody. I'm not even on Flow, but I get given products, whether it's distributors or the companies themselves. Everything I get is for free. So yeah, sorry if you didn't know that. Anyways, what do we have here? We got some Formula 4 tablets, 52 millimeter. Again, the 5.6 hollows. Got some Quantum bearings, metallics. I've been riding Quantums for about a year now. I'm pretty happy with them. I have no complaints. And we have mini logo 7/8 Phillips hardware. Oh, the deck. You've been wondering what's the deck, because that of course is the most important part. The deck decides what you put on here. We have an Anti-Hero 8.25, and what's unique about this one is that it actually has a 14-inch wheelbase. So it's not common to find 8.25s. There are some, they exist, but most 8.25 have a 14.25 wheelbase. So this is 14, it is 31.5 long, so it's short. Like this is a pretty short 8.25, and when you think of Anti-Hero, you don't think of short boards and short wheelbases. You know, you think of those big 8.75s with the 15-inch wheelbase, and they're super long. Man, this one is a gear nerd video. To anyone who's super new to skating and is like, I'm speaking Greek with all these numbers and stuff, sorry. This one's for the diehard. Anyways, yeah, 8.25, 14-inch wheelbase. We're gonna get this all set up. I throw out every sticker I ever get with boards. I've never been a sticker guy. Like I wasn't a sticker guy when I was a kid, and I'm not a sticker guy now. We have Mob grip here. Which is good except for one thing. Lately, in the box of Mob that I've had, the edges have been curled over, and it makes gripping boards really hard because nose and tail have concave going the other way. And what keeps happening to me is I keep having a hard time avoiding the wrinkle on a board. Start in the middle, and this is where it gets hard because I'm fortunately there's some warm sun keeping this grip tape a bit warm, but you really have to focus on getting that middle down. Because I'm doing it on camera, I got the pressure and it might go wrong. I almost got a wrinkle there. But yeah, lately that's been my big complaint about Mob. As far as the grip, it's fine. The adhesion is pretty good. Jessup sticks better, to be honest. And I think that's because it's not perforated. I think that the perforated things in Mob grip actually reduce the adhesion because it dries out a little bit over time. And I don't notice a big difference between the grippiness between Mob and Jessup. Jessup now has some pretty aggressive grits. I like those ones. Okay, let's see if we can actually nail this one without the... Yeah, I find it hard. But we've done it. We've done it. We're in the clear. You know, using a hairdryer when you're setting up a board can help because it helps, it just helps mold it. Hairdryer, heat gun it'll work, but it's risky because it gets really hot. All right, that's good enough for the purposes of this video. My feet will stick it down better. Love this silver tool. I've been using this for a long time. Except even in spite of the design of the silver tool, it still has trouble with ventures. We'll see that in a bit. Just do one little pass around. And then nice sharp blade. So here's a little tip. If you actually pull a little bit on the grip tape, this is dull, this knife. A little bit sharper. If you actually pull on the grip a little bit while you're cutting it, it puts that tension on, which helps it cut a little bit cleaner. I never gripped so many boards as I have after starting the channel. Especially as an adult, I was only going through like one board every 6 months. Started the channel, one a month, pretty easy, sometimes more. This has a nice shape, by the way. It's a really nice blunt shape, which is what I'm mostly into. I generally like nice blunt kicks. Okay, what I love to poke the holes through, I mean, I've seen people put their bolts there and smash it with a truck. It works, I get it. I really like a screw, actually. The reason I like a screw so much is you poke it through, and when you pull it back, basically the serratedness of the screw pretty much reams the hole out perfectly.
I like using a chopstick.
Chopstick?
Yeah, because it gets like wider and thicker as you...
Yeah, I get it, but see what I mean? These holes are already pretty much, they're already good because the screw like pulls the extra material out with it. I either use a screw or a nail. For anyone who just came here to find out about the trucks, I'm sorry. This is gonna be a long format video, I think. But for anyone who loves anything and everything skateboard related and you're into all the gear talk, you're welcome. I hope these 7/8 hardware fit with the Venture base plates because I find a lot of the time you actually need 1 inch. I usually, or lately, have been riding Indies again, and Indies have the thickest base plate, the standard Indies. Ventures have a thinner base plate, Thunders have a thinner base plate, not by much, right? But it's enough that you pretty much have to use 1 inch hardware on Indies. I always try and get that little bit of grip that comes through off. I think if you leave that stuff on there, you're giving your bolts a rough start because you're mashing all that stuff through the threads. And a little bit's gonna happen anyways, but I think the more that gets mashed through those threads, the more likely that your bolts are gonna loosen on their own. I think these bolts are gonna be too short, but it'll be good enough for one session. Okay, we got the silver tool, and what I was talking about, it fits, but not that well, especially as it gets cranked tighter. I go just before it starts to wrinkle the grip. I didn't stop quite soon enough, but that's okay. Okay, we don't need to film every bolt here. Okay, we got the quantum bearings here. Oh, good, they put the shields in this time. I haven't had a set for a long time. Yours came with shields on?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, in the beginning they weren't putting the shields on, and I actually found that really annoying. But now they're putting the shields on. Awesome. Because, I mean, I figure if you want to take the shields off, which goes against manufacturer's instructions, I mean, you should have to take them off. But I want to be a good little boy and ride my shields. I shouldn't have to take them off. Oh, spacers. That's something we never talk about. I've still never made a video about spacers. You know what? I don't use spacers. There's a reason. I know some people, Raj from the 9 Club, is like, what? What do you mean you don't use spacers? Okay, you guys, the core. Let's get into the core of the wheel and the spacer. So the reason that I don't ride spacers is because I find it problematic because I don't ride the same brand. Like, usually you have to ride, say, Bones wheels and Bones bearings to get a core and a spacer that's the same size. The core is that little space in there. And if it's not exactly the same, what can tend to happen is that it will put undue strain on your bearings. Either the core is too small and you'll be cranking your bearings too you'll be cranking your bearings too tight and it'll be putting a bunch of pressure on them this way. Or if your core is too wide, then what happens is there's some lateral movement in your wheel as it slams against something and it'll like blow your bearings apart. So I've seen this happen. That is why I don't ride spacers. The other reason is if you ride spacers and you don't actually have your spacers cranked down tight, or your bolt, if you don't actually have your bolt cranked down tight, your spacers aren't doing anything. And I hate the sound of the wheels being on tight. I like the slight little bit of rattle that I get from having a tiny bit of play in my wheels. And I don't have much play, you guys. It's like, you know, less than a millimeter. This is a board setup video. This isn't actually a Kader trucks video, but we'll cover it. So still too much. Boom, right there. Almost, right there, a sliver. All right, you guys, last wheel. I used to ride spacers, but I've never liked to ride with them totally cranked down. If you're riding without them totally cranked down, you're basically canceling out the benefits of using spacers. All right, we actually still have some Vancouver Carpenter videos to film, but I can't resist just jumping on this thing real quick. Actually, that feels really good. That's a good combo. I'm gonna get back to this. Let's finish our other video real quick. Okay, so this is my current ride, Indy 149 Standards, 52 millimeter classics, Formula 4 and the Manderson shape. I've been loving it. That was the raddest slappy I've ever done. Okay, I just did that to like calibrate to my regular board. So let's start not with the new setup, but with everything the same. Okay, not quite everything the same. These are 54 millimeter wheels, which is bigger than what I usually ride. But yeah, they felt a bit too loose on my last step. Harder to get my silver tool in there and turn it. It took me a while to get used to Indies again because I rode Thunders for 6 months, but yeah. Yeah, a lot less turn, a lot more lean before the turn. So what I mean is, I can lean and the board doesn't start turning so fast. On Indies, after riding Thunders, I felt totally squirrely and out of control. I think these actually would have been easier for me to start riding. But yeah, let's film some stuff. Okay, I gotta be honest, like, and I know this is just like a coming off of Indies onto a different truck, but like initially the turning just feels sluggish and clunky. It's definitely, if you're looking for stability, it's there. The pop is like weirdly different and I can't quite explain it. I feel like my trucks are farther out, but that it's also popping lighter. So they definitely, like, I notice the lightness. They have a little bit of the Venture hefty pop, but nowhere near as much as the regular Ventures. Definitely a change. Like, it's manageable on a 14 1/4. Let's try a little bit of flat ground. Very different than what I'm used to.
Everything else is first try.
Okay, should I try that on my regular board real quick to see if I'm full of it? Slightly better. Okay, let's get one on the Venture. Obviously, this is like an operator error problem. There's no reason that it can't be done on this just as easy, but I'm not used to this. I feel like I'm not leaning in the right spot. As soon as I pop the trick, my body's in the wrong spot. One more. There we go. Couple more flat ground tricks, and then let's get onto the little bitty board. Oh, never do those. Honestly, it's good. Like, because it's so stable, you can definitely get your footing better than on an Indy. And I'm getting used to the snap and the pop. Yeah, it's good. There's some other trade-offs, like the grinds are not as smooth and fast as on either Thunder or Indies. Something about the shape of the hanger on a Venture, it's like more upright and it's really thin. It definitely grinds slower. And I don't think it's the metal. Like, I've asked people that might have an in at Ermico, I've been like, is there a difference between the metals, between like a Thunder and a Venture? And they're like, no, the metal's the same, it's aluminum. So it's the shape of the hanger. Let's do one last tray on this and then instantly try a tray on the 14-inch wheelbase. All right, teeny tiny baby boards. At one point this would have been a huge board for me, like a vert board, but now 825 is feeling small.
It's probably really good for trays.
I mean, like, I'm getting ghost pop. This board is steeper than the other one. Oh! Dang! This is actually a pretty sweet setup. It's easy to flip. Okay, when you can kickflip a 14-inch wheelbase decently, you know it's got a good balance point. So I would say that it definitely felt a little bit funky on the Manderson, and on this it feels like the setup is actually like proper. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You know when a setup is like, oh, it's like this was all designed to go together, and on the Manderson it didn't feel that way, and on this it does. Whoa, that went really fast. Not sure why.
Almost. Wouldn't P-Rod skate something similar to that?
Yeah.
825, 14-inch wheelbase?
Longer.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. I got like a pop I haven't felt in a while on this setup. It's a steep one. Like for a 14-inch wheelbase, it's definitely steep and tight feeling, but like if you can kickflip and like poke them or level them on a 14 wheelbase, it's good. Let's go to the ramp. Enough of this messing around. Let's skate this board where it's gonna suck. Okay. Yeah, feels small. Totally manageable, but like, yeah, it feels tight. I definitely like a longer board on ramps. You get used to it. You can totally get used to it. We gotta do the Smith test. Not that it proves anything, I just want a Smith grind. Trick. Yeah, I like this. I barely even know what else to try. Like, I don't want to fill up a video with like all the same
5 to 10 tricks I do on here, but for the people that just kind of want to watch transition, even though I'm going to do the same tricks, here it is.
Three in a row.
I was wondering how many I could do in a row. Okay, that's it. That's as good as it gets on ramp for me. I don't know, like this is really fun and I could definitely have a lot more fun doing flip tricks on this. On this board, with how steep the kicks are, even though the wheelbase is short, I'm definitely feeling that like wide, hefty venture pop. But then because we have the hollow kingpin and hollow axle, like it's coming up to my feet. I think let's just do some more flat ground on this because it was too much fun.
Kick flip.
Huh? Oh. There's certain tricks I actually don't like a steep feeling board for. Frontside flips is one of them. But let's stop complaining and do it. I like steep boards for switch ones. What else? I don't even know what else to try.
Oh.
Dude. Oh. Feeling the primo in these bulks. I tried to endo it. I don't like steep boards for that trick either. That's not an excuse, it's just a fact. Am I getting tired?
Yeah. You've just been going in circles. Woo.
Let's squeak out one of those nollie back heels. Yeah, it was squeaked out. I'm done. Totally over it. Don't know how to end the video. Maybe I should keep it simple. The heel flips were pretty glorious too.
Switch hard. Do you have nollie hard flips?
Ah, that's even more energy.
Yeah. Oh.
I like hot pocketed myself on that last one. Gotta work for those. I'm taking that.
That counts.
It counts, yeah. I know, it could be cleaned up, but I don't want to. My board feels wimpy now. Dang, my board doesn't feel steep enough anymore. The anti-hero setup was that one for the win. Dang. I mean, like, I still feel way more comfortable on this, but man, that pop on the anti-hero is something else.
Okay, you guys, I'm done. That's as much as I can do on other boards. We'll maybe do another one-day truck review in like 6 months. The reason I haven't been doing this stuff lately is because I just don't like changing my board anymore. If I change something, it's because I've been riding it for months and I want to change. I'm not actually like doing this crazy madness and setting up different stuff all the time anymore. It was really fun for a day. Let's go over it. So first, the Manderson with the Kader trucks. I could still do everything on this. It clearly wasn't like really holding me back. The only thing that was a challenge was just that it felt different. I would say these are a good all-round truck. I didn't really like it on the this board has kind of a mellow tail, the 14 1/4 wheelbase. You know, it didn't feel quite right to me. Still manageable, I could get used to it and I'm sure I could do everything on it. But man, what a surprise when setting up this one. I didn't know that this board was gonna feel that way. I don't know if maybe it's just an extra special one. It definitely has a sweet ply. I love it when you get the blue ply with the orange underneath. Deluxe has been doing that a lot on their boards lately. It's definitely one of my favorite combos. But yeah, I mean, like, I could actually skate this setup and probably most of my tricks on camera would start to look a lot better. The experience I always have when skating venture highs with the right deck is that, like, I could probably learn more tricks on this because I have a lot of extra pop, but it's really light once I get it into the air. Yeah, this is a good setup. I hate to give you guys madness. I mean, because I don't want it and I don't want you to have it. But if you're just kind of looking for one of those really steep, poppy setups that spins around really fast, this was it. It would take a little bit for me to not feel like it was short. It definitely felt compact. Again, didn't like it in the ramp very much. I could totally get used to it and it would be manageable, but not my preference at all. Once I got back onto my current setup, the pop felt lackluster in comparison to that steep kick board, but that had way more to do with the kicks. I actually like the nose better on this board. And I think arguably I like the tail better. Like the frontside flip I did at the very end there really shows you that, like, this is the setup that I'm tuned into and that most of my tricks come more naturally to. It's a very all-round setup. That's why I like it on transition. I like it on curbs. I like it on flat ground. I like it on ledges. There isn't really anything where I'm like, well, this isn't quite working or it feels a little weird. So again, that could just be because it's what I'm tuned into. Anyways, that's all I have to say. If you guys are wondering about those trucks, and just to make you wait till the very end, if I didn't put it in the screen somewhere, I think those trucks are like 360 grams, which is pretty light. That's the 5.8s are 360. So that's like 40 grams lighter than an Indy Stage 11 standard. And it's definitely still lighter than a hollow standard, but now we're splitting hairs, you guys. And I'm done. It was a good session, but I gotta call it. Thanks for watching. Till the next one.